Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. I don't really know how long some of these Browns signees will last in training camp. Some have already made it further than we expected. Hopefully, they will have cameras so they can take pictures and send them back home for the one day they wore a football jersey and it wasn't for Halloween. We got Mary Kay Cabot here tonight. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Thursday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 24th consecutive year. Coming up next week or two, it'll be 25 consecutive years, and I believe we're checking, well, I do know we are checking to see if that is I won't call it a world record, but a record for a continuous sports talk. I'm Les Levine. Mary Kay Cabot is with us, and there she is. Hello, Mary Kay. How are you?
I'm doing great, Les. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Mary Kay is with us. She covers the Browns, and finally something to cover. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But we're also going to let you go a few minutes early. We're going to talk to George Veras, who is involved with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We got special offers for MS&LL viewers, so we will do that at the end of this regular program. Mary Kay finally get to cover the Cleveland Browns this year, actually with a football and everything.
Yes, you know what? Tomorrow, the very first practice, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I can't believe that it's been so long since I've been out to watch a practice. I can't believe that this is going to be the first chance here in mid-August to see the 2020 Cleveland Browns all together on the football field. This will be the first time that they will be going offense versus defense. They're not going to be in pads tomorrow, but it will still be the first real opportunity to see what resembles football.
You know, I alluded to it a moment ago in the commentary. Do any of these guys either know or don't know they're going to make the team or make the NFL? Do they come out with cameras and they give to their buddy in the locker room and say, "Hey, take a picture with me with this uniform number on"? Does that happen?
Well, I think some of them, try to cherish every moment and try to get, out of it whatever they possibly can, knowing that it could be fleeting. However, it should be remembered that this year, right now, there are only 80 players on the roster. So if 53 are going to make it, then they can have it up to 16 on the practice squad. So there's really not that many guys that we will see out there practicing tomorrow that will be saying goodbye.
Yeah, and then obviously they count the noses out there and they know who they have to beat out. The problem for guys at the end of the roster is that especially with a new group coming in, their front office, they're looking for new additions at all time, and those are the guys who become a little concerned, or should be anyway.
Yes, that's very true. That very back end of the roster, that last 6 or 7 guys, it's very fluid. Some guys, make the final roster only to be cut 2 days later
Right.
when they find somebody else off the waiver wire. That does happen a lot. So, but that's what these guys signed up for. They know that they are in this business. That the chances of making it can sometimes be very small, and sticking around is not always easy.
How about in the locker room, or rather the front office itself? Uh, the GM and his personnel guys, as soon as they realize the Browns need a certain position guy, somebody shouts out the position and say, "Yeah, I got one here. I got his phone number too." Does that happen?
Oh yeah, they have a short list of guys at every single position, and they're ready to go. So the minute they need somebody, they'll be able to add somebody or call somebody up from the practice squad. So they've got plenty of contingency plans, especially for this COVID marred season.
Sure. Now you have mentioned that Ronald Leary has been coming in, talking about coming in for a free agent visit. Anything that you can tell us about him, if that in fact might happen?
Well, he's definitely visiting, and I believe that was probably today. Not sure yet if they are going to sign him or how that is going to go. But obviously, they're very interested in signing him. They wouldn't be bring him in if they weren't. So I'm guessing that that they'll make an effort to get him under contract and get him in here to camp.
Yeah, and there's something interesting that pops right out at you. It says he's played both left tackle, left and right guard, rather. So that may be the versatility that they could use.
Yes, very much so. He can, if he doesn't start, he can end up sort of being the swing guard and fill in at either spot. So that's always helpful. And then I'm sure he can play some special teams. And he's also played for Bill Callahan, the Browns offensive line coach. When he was in Dallas for 4 years, Bill Callahan was his coach for 3 of those years. So, so he's got that familiarity with him.
Right. All right. So you're getting ready to follow camp. That'll start tomorrow for you at 2:30. The immediate members of the local media get to see every snap, right?
Yes, during training camp, we get to watch everything. Now, we don't necessarily get to film everything, and although the Browns are streaming it live for 2 hours, not everybody will be able to see every single thing. There are some things that won't be shown because you don't really want to give everything away to the Baltimore Ravens and your other opponents. But we will be able to be out there seeing everything, and really looking forward to that. There are so many different things that I just can't wait to see.
All right, what is one thing? Let's start with the coach. That obviously is something. The coaching staff, obviously the front office, a lot of stuff happening. How much involvement is Jimmy Haslam involved? Hold on, that's a horrible sentence. So hold on a minute. You can't say how much involvement is he involved. Jimmy Haslam in the past has been active. You expect him to be active today or this week?
Yes, he is a very hands-on owner. He's very involved. Now he's not, calling up, agents and things like that. He's not doing things to that extent, and like a Jerry Jones would do. But he is involved, and he's very on top of what is going on with his football team every single day. He likes to know, he likes to be on top of everything. He likes to be involved in decisions and apprised of everything. And, it's his football team. So I don't have any problem with that whatsoever.
No, you know what I'd like? I'd like him to see how involved he gets if they win.
Yeah, well, that would be good for everybody involved. So
no
hopefully he'll have a taste of that, and so will Browns fans.
Hey, the Indians are going through something that is not really good. And you had Plesac, the pitcher, blaming the media for getting the word out. Has that ever happened to you where the team members have blamed you for something that clearly was their fault?
Yes, that does happen from time to time. But I also think that it's part of the business, and it's really just it goes with the territory. And there are times when you just kind of have to deal with that a little bit, and it's unfortunate, but like I said, it's just part of the job.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. You can follow us on Facebook. Facebook.com is where you can go. We post the questions in the morning. You respond to them. And then during the show, we read them off. Pretty simple and a pretty good idea. More Sports and Less Levine continues exclusively right here where we are run and powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hello and welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine with Mary Kay. Les and Mary Kay, Yannick Ngakoue has made it known that he wants to be traded from the Jaguars. Bleacher Report, instead of the Browns trading for him, has suggested that they wait until next offseason to trade for him or to sign him. Here's what they had to say about that. On the field, his fluidity as a pass rusher makes him one of the league's hardest edge defenders to block. The Cleveland Browns, meanwhile, flirted with the idea of adding more opposite Garrett all offseason. Olivier Vernon is scheduled to be a free agent after the upcoming season. His departure, plus a projected $40 million in available salary cap space, should create a situation where the Browns pursue a top defensive end like Ngakoue.
All right, first of all, Mary Kay, before you respond to that, we need kind of an update. How did Brian do on this as he's finishing his first week?
Very good. I really, really enjoyed that. Good job.
More sports and Brian? You envision that in any way?
You never know.
In this business, you never know. 216-575-0403 is the number. So what do you think? What do you think about that possibility? That's a name we've heard for a long time now, and then it got flushed out, and it's back again.
Well, I wrote a column a few weeks ago saying that I thought that the Browns should trade for Yannick. I still think that they should. It's really on the back burner right now. But this week, he switched agents. So sometimes when that happens, things can heat up again. So, who knows? Maybe the Browns will revisit it and see if there's something else that can be done. But they did check into it. And for whatever reason, probably compensation in terms of draft pick was maybe a little bit too rich for them at that time. But I do think they like the player. I do think he is worth trading for. And if I could get him for less than a first-round pick, I would go ahead and do that. The reason why you can't necessarily wait until next offseason to do it is because with him being on the trading block, someone else can go ahead and trade for him and take him right out from underneath you.
Right.
So I would force the issue a little bit, and I would kind of do whatever it takes to get it done. Again, I don't think they are thinking that way, but that is what I would do.
Don't you think there's something fishy, I guess, if you got what you think is a pretty good a player, a free agent, and then you get to the day before training camp and he switches agents. Obviously, the previous agent couldn't make a deal. Don't you find there's something you have to watch out for if you're going to deal in that area?
Well, you have to do your diligence on it, and you have to figure out what the situation is. It could be one of those type of situations with David Njoku, where he decided to go with Drew Rosenhaus, who has a pretty good track record of finding trade partners for players, and in some cases making difficult and really good deals. So this could be one of those situations where where they believe that a new agent is going to be able to get the job done, whereas the previous agent couldn't pull it off. So I don't necessarily always think it's a bad thing or that it speaks poorly of the player.
All right, so I'm wearing one of my 60 Ohio State shirts today in honor of the Buckeyes. Just going back as a Kent Stater, How much does this bother you? What's going on in the in the MAC and in football itself, college football?
It's all very sad, and I just feel so horrible for all the student athletes that have worked so hard to get to this point, and for the ones whose, not only their couple final years are, might not be what they thought they were going to be, but it could also really impact their chances of going pro. It could really shake up the whole draft. Even Joe Burrow has said, he probably wouldn't have been the number 1 overall pick without his final season. You look at a Denzel Ward. I mean, he came back and had an amazing 2017 season that led to him going number 4 overall in the draft. So in some cases, you're talking about multi millions of dollars too, going back and being able to prove yourself in your final year of college eligibility. So I find it extremely unfortunate and sad. And just like everything else, I hope that at some point soon we can all get back to normal.
Right. Well, they're trying everything they can to get it back to normal. I don't know if that is going to be possible. 216-575-0403 is the number. Mary Kay Cabot is with us a little bit later. George Veras of the Pro Football Hall of Fame will be here with some pretty good offers you might want to check out. Mary Kay getting ready to cover the Browns. How many years now? This is tomorrow. Will be how many years?
You know what? I actually haven't counted heading into this. But
I shouldn't ask.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone. It's a lot.
Well, it's a lot, but but you can think of it as a lot, but you can also think of it as the longevity, which there's not that much of, especially females who's been in it so long. You've done a sensational job carving out a niche for yourself and an awful lot of other people around the country. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, so lots of stuff going on tomorrow. You've been waiting for this day for a long time. What now? I'm guessing you're going to get there and all of a sudden somebody's going to hand out a press release and you're going to say, oh, no, I got to start all over here. What kinds of things can happen on the first day, and what do you expect not to happen?
Well, there are certain things that I am looking for on the first day and really eager to see and look forward to. We never really got to see Baker Mayfield throw the ball too much to Odell Beckham Jr. in practice last year because Odell wasn't healthy, and that just didn't happen very much. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys together. I'm also looking forward to seeing, Baker just in his own right, his new footwork and those kinds of things, and how he gets the ball around and distributes it to new guys such as Austin Hooper. But I'm really going to be kind of focused in a little bit on Baker and Odell, because those guys only connected for 4 touchdowns in 16 games last year. That is nowhere near enough. Those guys need to be up in double-digit touchdowns. If they're doing that, I think that the Browns will be in the playoffs. So that's one thing I'm really, really looking forward to seeing. I'm also looking forward to seeing Jedrick Wills Jr., the number 10 overall pick, go up against Myles Garrett in practice. They better be doing a lot of first-teamers versus first-teamers so that that iron sharpens iron. And I really do think that Jedrick Wills going against Myles Garrett will get him ready for the season. And I can't wait to see how good he looks over there on the left side, making that all-important switch from right tackle to left tackle. So those are 2 of the top things that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Well, let's move back to the first thing you said, which was Baker Mayfield, and everybody knows no matter how much what they have on the bench or in the locker room, this season doesn't work if Baker Mayfield doesn't work. Are you expecting to see some things you wanted to see 2 years ago when he walks out and starts throwing the ball, or do you think it's going to be a slow camp?
Oh, no, you know what? I don't think it can be a slow camp. I don't think they have the luxury of that this year at all. I mean, think about this. They've only got 14 padded practices. The first of those will take place on Monday. So they will not be, again, in pads tomorrow when we're out there. But they have to make the most of every single rep. They're also planning on dividing. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but they're dividing the team up into like an orange team and a brown team so that they can squeeze the most out of these 2-hour practices. And, I just think it's going to have to be very fast. I think they're going to have to do a lot of 11-on-11s. They're going to have to get to that period quicker. I remember, in previous years, I'm always like, it just doesn't seem like they're doing enough 2-minute drills and things like that. I don't think that'll be the case this year. I think you're going to see a lot of situational football.
Well, it's going to be interesting one way or the other, and you're going to be right at the forefront of the whole thing, watching. Do you have anything preconceived on this, or you could just let it see where it falls?
Well, the good thing is that we're talking to Baker Mayfield tomorrow. Now, of course, the interviews have to be done via Zoom, even the coach. So we're talking to Baker Mayfield tomorrow, Jarvis, Landry, and Grant Delpit. And those guys, of course, are all names that will loom large during the practice. Everybody wants to see, is Jarvis actually going to be out there practicing, coming off a hip injury? Grant, I think, is one of the most exciting players added to the defense. And then everybody wants to see what Baker Mayfield is going to do on his first day and how he looks. So I'm going into it, probably thinking about, writing just a lot about Baker tomorrow. Not only what he says, but how he looks and how it all shakes out on the first day.
What's your gut feeling, or don't you have one yet on Baker?
I think he's going to look. I think he's going to look great. I mean, just in seeing how he's kind of transformed his body a little bit, and also in seeing how he's, I think, mastered the new footwork. It just looks so much better, and I think that will translate to more accuracy. Last year, we couldn't. It was hard to figure out, like, why is he sailing the ball over people's heads so often, and he just didn't seem to be on the same page with Jarvis a lot of the time, and with Odell. I mean, it was just off. And I just think that razor sharp accuracy will be back, in part because of that footwork.
216-575-0403. If you'd like to talk to Mary Kay Cabot, you can do that right now. EWS, that's East, West, and South. That's where you're going to find Northeast Factory Direct with the lowest price guarantee. And Alex has been doing it for 20 years. He knows exactly what he needs to do to get your business and keep it. Let's take a break. We'll come back in a moment. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Wow! Get Nature Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine. Last year, Nick Chubb nearly captured the rushing title as a member of the Cleveland Browns. This year, with a revamped offense, Jake Trotter from ESPN expects him to do even better. He said this: as the Browns shift from a pass-happy scheme to Coach Kevin Stefanski's rush-heavy attack, Chubb could be primed for an extraordinary third season, which not only could catapult him to that rushing title, but also elevate Cleveland's offense into one of the league's best. The new year brought about big changes in Cleveland that stand to benefit Chubb, who, being extension eligible after this season, will aim to capitalize accordingly.
Well, there you have it. What do you think about More Sports and Brian Walsh? There's something there. It's just great job, Brian.
It's got a nice little ring to it.
Yeah, absolutely,
like it.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about it. A couple of years ago, you probably walked in and didn't say that Nick Chubb was going to be the star of the drills, and if you could find another one, that would be pretty interesting. You might already have one of them already. But Nick Chubb's chances, what are they of the rushing title, the contract extension, and anything else that we should think about in thinking about Brian and thinking about Chud?
Well, I do think he has a good chance once again for the rushing title. He almost won it last year, and think about that. They didn't even have good offensive tackles last year. So he almost got it last year when things weren't going well at all. So this year, yeah, I think his chances are really good. The thing that I think could throw a monkey wrench into that, however, is the fact that they now also have Kareem Hunt for the whole entire season. And a lot is going to depend on how often they give the ball to Kareem Hunt. They've got two excellent runners this year. Both of those guys are amazing, and they will both get time. They will be on the field together a fair amount. Now that could be with Kareem Hunt in the slot, or split wide, or lined up, in the backfield, in the wishbone, or whatever, in many different ways. But I think that will go a long way towards dictating how many yards Nick has, and that is how often.
And the wide receivers may take away some of that time and productivity on Chubb.
Right, and the tight ends as well. I mean, it is a run-heavy offense, but they've got a lot of weapons. They have a ton of weapons on this football team, and it's going to be very interesting to see how Kevin Stefanski divides that all up.
All right, when he divides it up, it'll be interesting to see at the end of each game how it worked itself out. As you head toward the first game, do you have any percentage idea of what you're going to see percentage-wide offense from the running game, the receiver core, and of course Beckham? What do you think when we study the results of Game 1? What are we looking at as the key thing?
Well, they're going to want to possess the ball because they're going to be playing against the Baltimore Ravens, who will do the same. So they're going to want to hang on to that ball. So I think they will run it a fair amount. I think they might run the ball more than they pass the ball in that particular game. But the play action pass will open things up. So Odell should get his catches and Jarvis should get his catches. But once again, you've got Austin Hooper, you've got David Njoku. There are a lot of guys to try to spread it around to. I think that it will either be really balanced or they will run it a little bit more than they pass it that game.
Well, hopefully they don't have any complaints from the some of those key players, and just let the offensive coordinator, the head coach, let them work it out, and then at the middle of the season, then I guess you can gripe if you want to. A little too early to start griping.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're winning games, that's what everybody wants. That's the goal. So even though you've got guys like Odell Beckham Jr., who are going into this season saying, I want to kill it, and I want to be one of these elite receivers that gets 2,000 targets and 150 catches and all that kind of stuff, the truth of the matter is, as long as they're winning and they're working towards the playoffs, then no one will have anything to gripe about.
Mary Kay Cabot is with us. She has joined up on our virtual walk for Parkinson's disease. It's coming up in the Ravens game, but not up against the Ravens game. There's plenty of time between the game and the walk. Go to the website, which is events.beinmotion.org. Events.beinmotion.org. My team is called Moving More with Less. We'd love you to be part of it, whether it's $5, $10, no dollars. Just come in and be part of the virtual walk, and we would appreciate it very much. It's Sunday, September 13th. And that's the night of the Ravens-Browns game, but there is no conflict with the time of the game. And thanks so many people who have joined up. We appreciate it so much, and they do such great work at InMotion. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. We're going to take a break, and we'll come on back. We are powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get texts sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine. Les and Mary Kay, the Browns have struggled to find a consistency at head coach, and as a result, their playoff appearances have suffered as they have entered a drought since 2002. John Breach of CBSSports.com decided to take a look to see if Kevin Stefanski can finally end that playoff drought. Here's what he had to say. For the past 5 years, it's really felt like the Browns have been one competent head coach away from competing. And call me crazy, but I think they finally have that guy. On paper, the Browns have one of the most talented teams in the AFC, and if Stefanski can navigate this team through the rough waters of the NFL season without crashing the ship, then the Browns could be on their way to their first playoff berth since 2002.
Listen, I don't know how Stefanski's going to do. Mary Kay, I don't believe, knows either. It's a crapshoot out there. Something good is going to happen. Something bad is going to happen. My guess is if you're going to have the choice, what the reporter wrote was that it was the quarterback, it was the coach's fault. I don't agree with that. I think they didn't have the right quarterback. If they had the right quarterback, some not great coach would have taken advantage of the situation and gotten this team to the postseason.
I agree with you. I mean, most of the years they just didn't have the quarterback. And I mean, you've got to have that. I mean, you really want to have the coach quarterback combo, but no great coach can do anything with a bad quarterback. And that's been the problem here for a long, long time. Now it looks like Baker has everything around him to be able to get himself turned around this year. And I do think the coaching will be a lot better this year. It will be a lot more organized. I think the scheme, they're running the scheme that is just wildly successful in the NFL right now. It's the one where you use a lot of play action, you use 2 tight ends, you run the ball a lot, and you run your pass plays, out of the play action. So I really do believe that they are set up for success, and I think Kevin Stefanski is going to be a good coach.
However, you got the problems of a new coach and an unbelievable way to come in and be a new coach, and yet a couple of teams have to pull that through. And I don't know that we can sit here and say Stefanski. We can say he's more organized. We can say he's got good reviews. I don't know that we can come right out and say he's a great coach, because we don't know. We don't have any idea.
Right, we don't. We do not know that. The signs are there. I mean, when I look at all these different head coaches that over the years, I look for certain things like leadership ability, the ability to command the respect of your players, good play calling ability and X's and O's, of course, to be able to assemble a really good staff and to handle adversity and difficult situations. And so far, he's passed all of those tests, and I think that bodes well for the future.
When you go to camp, does somebody come to you and give you a list and say you can't swim on the same day that you're covering linebackers or anything like that at all?
No, nothing like that.
No
believe
rules?
me, we are going to have a lot of rules that we've never seen before. The rules will have rules once we head out there. We have to fill out waivers to go there. We have to stand in certain places. Of course, we have to wear our masks and things like that. We won't be able to talk to the players in person. We won't be able to talk to the coach in person. It's going to be challenging the way that it is for everybody else right now. And we all just have to adapt to it.
Do you see that something may come up that you can, I don't know what the protocol is, but maybe talk to the PR department and see if you can get it? Are there any flags out there flying right now?
You know what? Out front there usually are. I don't think there will be anything on the practice fields.
No, I don't mean that. Any flags as you were pursuing your job and the things you have to do you see something that is not overcomable?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No, I don't think so. Again, it's not ideal to not be able to develop those really good quality one-on-one relationships and to build trust with players and to get to know them as people. That is something that I've worked really hard at over the years. And it's not even easy to do in normal times, but it's going to be very difficult to do it now. And that's probably the number one thing that I'm worried about.
All right, so a segment or so before we were talking about Stefanski and if he can get it done. Here's a guy, a new head coach. We don't know anything about him. We don't know how he calls plays. We don't know how he uses timeouts. But what you know of him, what you've talked to people about, do you think he is the guy that can break this drought, this playoff drought?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, because I think he's got the players to do it. I think they finally have married up a good coaching staff with a good roster. And so I do think they have the ability to do it. As you mentioned, the thing that could derail it is the fact that they have not played together yet. They have not practiced together yet. The very first time that Kevin Stefanski will see his offense go up against his defense this season will be tomorrow. And the opener is 1 month from today. So
that just doesn't sound
less
right.
than a month, right?
It doesn't sound right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if he gets them to the postseason, that's automatic some kind of title.
Key to the city, automatic key to the city.
Key to the city, the Emerald City, absolutely. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 locations plus the website. Check it out. Check out the lowest price guarantee. And Alex has been doing it for over 20 years. He knows exactly what he needs to do. We're going to come back with Mary Kay Cabot, and she and I are powered by cleveland.com.
Never replace your basement flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Pearl Stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's check out our birthdays, and then this date in sports history. How about this one? 2006, Travis Hafner, Kronk, slams his 6th Grand Slam of the season, tying Don Mattingly's record. Think about that. 6. You don't want the Indians to load the bases because they'll be 0 for 6 as far as that's concerned. Birthdays for today, the Mudcat Grant from Bogalusa. No, he's not from Bogalusa. Chris Hamburger, great linebacker with that team from Washington. Andre Thornton, great guy, still lives in the neighborhood, still works in the neighborhood. The late Tom DeLeon was a center at Ohio State, and of course with the Cleveland Browns. And DeMarcus Cousins was born on this date in 1990. 216-575-0403 is the number to call if you want to get in. Mary Kay, we've come to the obligatory point of the season and the show where we have to actually put numbers on the season, wins and losses. You want to wait till the end of this, or you want to have a go at it?
I mean, I've been kind of consistently saying right now, if I, even before seeing a practice, I'm thinking somewhere around 9 victories. So I think I'll stick with that for right now.
You'd be happy with that too, in addition to just firing it out as a number? You think that's a good improvement or a good place to be at this point?
Well, I'm setting the bar at making the playoffs. Now that they've added one playoff team in each conference, I think the Browns need to make the playoffs this year. It's really time to do that. So I think I would be happy for Browns fans with the 9 victories if it means they made the playoffs.
All right, 9 victories and missing the playoffs would not be fun. All right, that's our Facebook question of the day. We asked it. We said, what do you think the record will be for the Browns? And your playoff predictions. Larry Pantages, former sports editor of the Akron Beacon Journal. He says they'll be 6-10, no postseason. Rome wasn't built in a day, and a rookie head coach cannot make the playoffs using Zoom calls and iPads. Robert Moore says if they shorten the season and expand the playoffs to 20 teams, then they will have a chance. Glenn Berger says 9-7, not making the playoffs. Boy, at first glance, you'd think 9-7 would be enough to make it, but there are enough reasons why you not to make it too, at 9-7.
Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantee that 9-7 will get you there. And
right.
The AFC North is going to be very, very intriguing this year with Ben Roethlisberger coming back. I'm very anxious to see what he's going to do. And will the Baltimore Ravens be able to stay atop the division? And then Joe Burrow. So there's lots to get excited about.
Isn't it amazing how quick that turned? Because it looked like the Browns would be right up there with Baltimore, and then all of a sudden you look at the rest of the East of that division, and it's not so easy. And it happened quick.
Well, that's what good teams do. Good teams have sustained success. They draft well,
right.
They acquire players well, they manage their cap, and they hire good people, good coaches, and they keep it going.
How many times have you been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? As a visitor?
As a visitor, just once or twice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's
very cool.
We got an offer coming up where I think people will enjoy it very much. And Mary Kay, we thank you so much for being with us and being part of the show. We'll see you next Thursday, right?
Sounds good. I'll be
see
here.
You then. Enjoy camp. All right. Monday night, Doug Lesmerises is going to be here, and he's got lots to talk about with the Ohio State situation and college football in general. We may have more information by then, and we'll see what happens. So that'll be Monday night. Of course, Bud Shaw on Tuesday, and the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, on Wednesday, followed by Mary Kay on Thursday. Thanks also to George Veras of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We'll see you on Monday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.
Wow, get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Act now for huge summer savings on our exclusive Nature's Blend stone, as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Only Nature's Stone eliminates cracked, uneven concrete, and Nature's Stone never peels like cheap paints and coatings. Safe, beautiful garage flooring that's always backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine. We got a guy here tonight who knows everybody in the world. I don't know anybody who knows more people than George Veras, who's with the Hall of Fame. He's the executive producer at the Hall of Fame. Hello, George. How are you? Did you meet any new people today to add to your stable?
Les, that's very kind of you. You know, you're very well connected as well. There's nobody who's done more on the Cleveland sports scene for a longer time. Just terrific work. You know, every day there becomes a connection. We're doing like the whole world does, virtual television shows. We're doing virtual museum tours, and I just connected with the Michigan alumni group through a woman who actually has on her lawn the placard of one of my cousins running for Congress in Michigan. So there you go. That's how the world is today.
Did he or she win, or is that coming up?
No, she lost the primary for a Republican nomination for the House of Representatives in Grand Rapids, but she'll be back another day, Lynn F. Honduras.
All right. Tell me, one of the things that the Pro Football Hall of Fame has bragged about, or I think of it as bragging about it, is you have somebody from every state of the union at the Pro Football Hall of Fame every day, I would assume. And with what's going on now, that's almost an impossibility. So what are you, as the Hall of Fame people, what are you guys doing to keep things moving?
Well, a tip of the hat to our incredible operations people who have kept this building safe and clean, our museum staff people. We opened up on June 10th after a 3-month shutdown, the longest in history. We've had over 10,000 visitors from 48 states. And the good news is nobody's called back to say we got COVID. And, you know, I think it will happen, but safe distancing, wearing the masks, very well scrubbed down. But actually the museum, the way it's laid out, Les, is very good for social distancing. It would normally take you 3 or 4 hours to get through everything in the museum on a typical visit. And so for us, we're at about 28% capacity. It grows every day. We average about 250 fans a day, and the weekend goes up to 400. We have a great promotion called the Backyard, where from Thursday to Saturday between 5 and 8, because we're open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., you can bring your child for free to the Hall of Fame, as if you're going out for a backyard barbecue. Our marketing people are coming up with a lot of creative promotions. But, you know, it's football. And it will be interesting, and I know we'll talk about it later, but if football isn't around, as you pointed out, reports are changing every day, we remain open for football, and it'll be interesting to see how that helps our attendance. We hope it doesn't happen. We'd much rather have football than anything else, which I think is good for us, good for the country, and we hope that happens.
Well, the timing couldn't have been worse, and you guys have really rebounded from it. The timing, talking about the cancellation of the game and all that. So what if somebody comes in from the state of Iowa, for example? What are they going to see at the Pro Football Hall of Fame based on what you've been able to do with what's going on the outside?
Look, we have history on everybody connected to anything. So I'll give you you love trivia, and you name the Hall of Famers that played ball at the University of Iowa.
The Hall of Famers.
From Iowa.
Roy Kinnick. George Kinnick.
Not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. All right, I give up.
College. Yes, sorry. Okay. So it's Paul Krause, who still died.
Minnesota Vikings.
Right, but he remains the all-time interception leader in the NFL. And a new recent addition from our Centennial class is Alex Karras. So we have artifacts from the Karras family. We've got Paul Krause's ball when he set the NFL record. You know, we're tied to anything and anybody from every state. And by the way, we're not just a place that houses the records of the Hall of Fame. We are the keepers of the game's history, the keepers of the flame. We have the record of every single NFL legend that ever played. And we'll talk later about our centennial celebration that will be on national TV September 17th when we unveil an incredible job by the city of Canton, the $12 million Centennial Plaza and 11 player pylons that will have the names of everyone who's ever played in the game that the Hall of Fame historians spent 3 years vetting, right nickname, right date, made sure they played in the game. And it's the first only sports organization to memorialize the name of every member that ever played in its league. Never done by a sports organization, done by the Vietnam veterans for the Vietnam Walls, that type of thing. So it's going to be spectacular. It'll be on national TV. We'll talk about that later.
George, if I had enough time, I would have come up with Paul Krause, but I totally forgot that Karras played at Iowa. He just didn't seem like an Iowa football player.
Well, you know, his father was Greek. He was had a restaurant in Des Moines, and the Greeks are everywhere in every country with a diner someplace.
When you go into that building every day, which is an honor, I would think, and I would think you'd never give up, not knowing how special it is to be there. Are there still stories that hit you that you either hadn't thought of in years, or somebody gave you information you didn't have? But on a daily basis, throughout the week, will that happen to you?
It happens every day. Our lament is that we're so busy creating and churning out the stories that we don't have more time to literally walk through the building, because the people who come here, this is their holy grail. This is the going to the Vatican. They are deeply embedded in the history of the game, their love of the game. They give it up. And I'm talking about the families who cherish football for what it means to them, their passion, and their stories are amazing. It's unbelievable every day. And it is a special place. It's an honor to be here. From a content and storytelling point of view, it's such a treasure trove. And we have built the last 3 years a media company. We have done programming. We've done television shows. And, next year we could have 70 hours of television shows on the air for all these different stories that we're doing that speak to the value of the game and what it means to everybody.
Hi, one of the things you got coming up is the Enshrinement Marathon. Tell me about what that's all about.
So the Enshrinement Hall of Fame Enshrinement Marathon is our first video on demand. And for us and for fans, we got great reception. It fills the gap of things that they would have seen if we had had Enshrinement, but much, much more. So we're offering it for your viewers. A special code is out there. You see the graphic. If you go to vod.profootballhof.com and type in the code MS&LL, you can watch 40 hours of exclusive enshrinements, gold jacket shows the last 6 years. But the exclusive part, never before seen, are 60 one-on-one interviews that I conducted the day after Hall of Famers got into the hall at the Super Bowl, from Troy Polamalu to Bill Cowher to Ed Reed, every single player, 60 of them, behind the scenes of David Baker's knock on the door, the knock on the doors. And it really is a feast for any football fan. You can watch it over and over, share with your family and kids, and feel like not only you've been to enshrinement, but been to enshrinements that you've never seen. And it's only $19.99, and it's available right now. And thank you guys for letting us share this with you. But it's our way that we're attacking COVID-19. I just got an email from the Cleveland group. We're doing virtual tours of the Hall of Fame for groups and gearing them to the teams that they're interested in. And it's like, we don't do just the Zoom less, but we do a TV production.
Absolutely.
And so for Browns fans, you can do that for $30 a ticket. If you want more like our archivists and historians talking, you can do it for $50 a ticket. We are booking these things left and right for those who can't get here as well. So we keep the museum alive. We keep the history alive. We keep our programming alive through the use of the web and virtual reality event programming.
And the code again is MS&LL. George, I've got a story for you that you probably hear this kind of story every day, but it really hit me. 8 or 10 years ago at the induction at the hotel the afternoon before, I was there and I was talking to Dante Lavelli, who I knew. My family knew Dante. And we're talking and talking and talking, and I look over to the corner and I see Terry Bradshaw is watching what's going on with Dante and me and my brother. And the interview's over and I start walking away, and Terry Bradshaw, my goodness, Terry Bradshaw, you'd think, you wouldn't think this would happen, but it did. He said, "Was that Dante?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "You know, I've never met him before. Would you mind coming over and introducing him to me?" To me, now that probably happens every day to you, but it was astounding to me.
Les, it's a great perspective, and even though it happens, it's still astounding. I'll give you an example at the Super Bowl. When Brett Favre got in, and it's Brett Favre. Now, what was the discussion on Brett Favre in the room? 10 seconds? He's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
He's Brett Favre. He was like a little kid, and he said to David Baker, "Is that Roger Staubach?" This was backstage at the NFL Honors. And David goes, "Yeah." He says, "I've always wanted to meet him. Can you introduce me to him?"
Would you? I would never believe that.
Yeah, no, it's a true story. Because again, what we fail to remember of these players when they're in the moment playing is they grew up huge football fans.
Right.
And they have heroes, and the thrill of getting the Hall of Fame for them is being, as Deacon Jones said, you're on a team that you can never be traded from, you can never be cut from. And you're on a team of the players that you've admired the most your whole career, and now you're one of those players. So when the new class comes here for the induction ceremony, the enshrinement, they get together and their initiation is at something called the Ray Nitschke Luncheon, which is closed to all of us. And that is like a field of dreams. So you have Joe Namath talking with Roger Staubach and talking with Brett Favre. So you've got, and by the way, these guys, all these players are true football historians. They didn't get to greatness by not studying every aspect of the game, from plays to hard work to history.
What's your favorite part of the hall, or favorite exhibit?
Well, why don't we? That's a very good question. We produced a hologram show called A Game for Life 4 years ago. And it's a 20-minute Disney-like production. You walk into a locker room that's the ultimate locker room with artifacts from Jim Thorpe on one side of the wall to modern players on the other side of the wall. Joe Namath hosts the show as a hologram. That was very special for me. I think I mentioned to you before, I was blessed. My career started as a ball boy for Joe Namath. The first day he walked down the field, my uncle operated on his knee, created the knee brace. It's a 50-year relationship, and Joe hosted this show. And basically you have 8 other Hall of Famers talking about their road to greatness. And then the show ends with holograms of George Halas and Vince Lombardi, actually the actual actor who played Vince Lombardi on Broadway, exhorting the audience to get out and play your game for life. I love the show, but I'm proud of it because you get great reaction from 8 to 80-year-olds. The challenge was, how do you make it relevant to kids, but yet not make it boring for adults and football savants? And when we tested this out in California before we brought it here, kids used to come in all bouncing all over the walls, but every time they watched the show, by the end of the show, they not only got quiet, but the first thing they did when the show ended is they raised their hands with questions. And so that show, I'm proud of. That show is still entertaining, and no other museum has a hologram show in the sports world like we have here.
I can't imagine that this would happen, but let's say you have a group of kids, a family and a group of kids coming in. One of them not necessarily a football fan. What is the biggest reaction to them when it's done. Somebody, I can't even believe I'm saying the kid wouldn't be a football player or a football fan. But what is it that really hit him while he was in there, besides Ray Nitschke?
Yeah, a very good laugh. I think that they're blown away by the depth of the history that they see here, the artifacts, the boards that clearly lay out the history of the game. We have in the rotunda every decade clearly outlined. The things that it's like they get, they got home and they get their sort of slice of the cake by following their team. But when they come into the hall, they're sitting at a banquet table and they're getting the feast of football that they have only gotten bits and pieces of, but now they're gorging everything all at once. And everything tastes better at the Hall of Fame. There's something that happens when you come here. I call fans give it up. What's amazing is that they come through, they spend more money per person on our merchandise than any museum. And I've seen it before in other museums. When you walk through the Smithsonian or went to the Chicago Museum on the Monet exhibit. But when people come to really study the passion of their feelings for an event, they come here and they are open. They're open to be inspired. They're open to soak it all in because they're taking with them something that's a lifetime memory that they're going to talk about with their families for years at the Thanksgiving Day table of what they saw at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
No question about it. George, we really appreciate you stopping by today. Fascinating business, fascinating building. The sport of football is just unbelievable and gets bigger and bigger. Let's run through one more time about the video and how we can get it with our special code.
The normal price is $29.99, but for this show, all you have to do is go to vod.profootballhof.com, type in the code MS&LL, and you can watch ad nauseum this 40-hour binge watching like you watch on Netflix. No one else has it. For $19.99, the last 5 years of Enshrinement, Gold Jacket shows, 60 one-on-one interviews with Hall of Famers, behind the scenes David Baker, knock on the door. And it's a great, great way to fill the void of not watching the games or being here at Enshrinement.
Hello and welcome to Hall of Fame Enshrinement Marathon, a full month of video binging from the exclusive vault of Hall of Fame Productions. Visit vod.profootballhof.com. The first ever video on-demand experience for fans to enjoy will be available August 1st through August 31st. Experience over 40 hours of shows, never before seen interviews with Hall of Famers, and behind-the-scenes content of the Knock on the Door and the Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson's live walk-ons. We will take you through the enshrinement ceremonies from 2014 through 2019, where Hall of Famers unveiled their bronzed busts that last for 40,000 years and give the speeches of their lifetime on national television in front of millions. The Gold Jacket ceremonies from 2014 through 2019, a special night in Canton, Ohio, when those that are enshrined go down a golden gauntlet of previous enshrinees and receive the first of 3 icons, the Gold Jacket. The most exclusive one-on-one interviews recorded 2 days after the new class members found out their legacies will live in Canton, Ohio forever. The life-changing knock on the door from Hall of Famer President David Baker that sparks raw emotions for the newest Hall of Famer and their families. And finally, a behind-the-scenes look at the moments before enshrinement, never before seen footage of the knock on the door and the famous live walk-ons seen by millions on CBS and Fox. Now, here's how it works. From August 1st through August 31st, you will get an all-access pass for $29.99 for a month of a spectacular, uninterrupted viewing. I know I'm missing sports like crazy, especially football, so this is your chance to look at never-before-seen content exclusively from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. These great stories can be seen on any device, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, and a smart TV. Let's start streaming together. Football is back for the entire family. Visit VOD.ProFootballHOF.com to start streaming now.
Well, thanks as always to Mary Kay Cabot of the Plain Dealer on cleveland.com. George Veras joined us from the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. We'll have Doug Lesmerises on Monday night. Lots to talk about for sure. Ohio State and the Browns and much, much more. We'll see you then. Of all the shows I've ever done, this is the most recent.